If you like cozy games but also love some good dungeon crawler mechanics, then this is the game for you. Into the Emberlands sees you step into the shoes of a light bearer tasked with rebuilding the homes of the knacks. In this video, we'll be taking a first sip of this game, giving an overview of what the game is currently like and what we can expect as it makes its way to full release. This is something we do regularly here at the Indie Brew, so make sure to hit that subscribe button for more indie game content. Without further ado, let's take a sip of this early access game. Into the Emberlands has some pretty great underlying story to the game. The glooming miasma, a dark cloud that makes it impossible to see, has taken over the land, and the only way to navigate through the gloom is by using a lantern equipped with light-bringing ember. You are entrusted with one of these lanterns and sent out into the miasma to rescue knacks and gather resources to rebuild your village. The initial story of Into the Emberlands sets the stage for a really great exploration adventure game and gives a lot of context as to what you're doing and why. I will say that as you progress it does feel a bit empty, and I'm hoping that developing the ongoing story is part of the early access development for the game. It definitely has some really great storylines to explore, and it'll be interesting to see where the story leads as the game works towards 1.0. The gameplay in Into the Emberlands is adventure and exploration based, but it does utilize some dungeon crawler or roguelite elements. As a light bearer, your lantern is equipped with a certain number of embers, which allow you to take one step per ember. Once your embers run out, well, that's when you find yourself becoming a lost knack and will need to start again from the level you were lost on. As you journey into the miasma, you'll find different knacks that need rescuing, as well as some other creatures and machines where you can gather different resources. You'll also need to utilize different tools like axes and picks to gather certain resources like wood and stone. Resources are needed to complete quests in your village, which include repairing or upgrading buildings or completing other tasks for the different knacks. Each level sees you need to collect a certain number of sparks to upgrade your village, which you get from successfully completing quests. So the game really is a quest-based game. In the mysterious miasma, you'll also find extra embers so you can keep exploring. And each knack you find will grant you an extra 10 embers too, so you can definitely spend a decent amount of time in the miasma before returning. Returning to your village will replenish your embers too, so you can keep exploring and gathering different resources throughout the level. Each level gives you a different landscape to explore, which is where the dungeon crawler side of the game comes in, and with a procedurally generated world, you really have no idea what the world will look like each time you head out, which really gives the game endless replayability. There's no enemies in the game yet that you need to worry about. The only thing that can cause you to lose is running out of embers, so the game does feel on the cozy side because you can explore at your own pace and leisure. The gameplay definitely doesn't feel like an early access game. It feels really fleshed out and well balanced. It's fun, addictive, and not too challenging. I was quite surprised at how finished the game feels, and we'll be following along to see how much more they add to what is already a really great game. The design of Into the Emberlands is a cute 3D style with a really great color palette. The different creatures and elements are done well, and the level design itself looks pretty amazing. Hovering over items gives you an info card about what the item is, which can often get in the way of the menus and things, which was a little frustrating at times, but otherwise the UI is pretty good and easy to use. The music definitely sets the cozy scene, and the sound effects add a lot of charm to the world. Given that it's an early access game, the design side of the game feels pretty polished and works really well with the gameplay mechanics. Into the Emberlands is an early access game that really doesn't feel like one. The cozy exploration side of the game combined with the dungeon crawler map makes for some really fun and addictive gameplay. I'm keen to see what's next for development and where the story of the game goes, but for a first sip, I can pretty confidently say that this is a game that's worth purchasing now. Into the Emberlands is available in early access now on Steam. You can find the link in the description below. That is a wrap on this first sip. Click here for more indie game recommendations, and until next time, stay caffeinated.